Hi, I'm Natalie McLean of nataliemclean.com, Canada's largest wine review site. And tonight on the Sunday Sipper Club, we have a really special guest who is coming to us live from northern Portugal. It's Pedro Costa of Aveleda Winery. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight, Pedro.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Terrific. And we are going to talk tonight about Verde wines, this zesty, spring ready, fresh white wine. Some, maybe more than some, don't know it as well here in Canada and America as we do, say, Sauvignon Blanc. But I think we're going to wake up a lot of taste buds tonight, Pedro, with our discussion and our tasting of these wines. So I'm just going to check over on Facebook that everybody can see and hear us. But Pedro, while I'm doing that, if you could kick it off tonight by telling us a little bit about your background. How did you get into winemaking? Was it in the family, or how did you come to start making wines there in northern Portugal? Please.
Well, for how long do you want me to keep talking? Because that's a very long story. I can talk all night about that.
Well, please do.
But to make it short, my father was an agronomic engineer, and he was the one who made me become passionate about winemaking. We have a small estate, and I used to follow him managing the estate. So that's how the passion for wine grew inside of me. So from very early, I knew that I wanted to become a winemaker. And then it's a story that it's common to many winemakers. So I went to study winemaking in Portugal, and then I went abroad to get the chance to know different realities in the world of wine. And at some point, you have to come back to or to settle in a certain place and start making something more long time, more long term. So that was my case, and I've been with Avleda for 6 years now.
6 years, wow. And where were your stages or your apprenticeship? Where did you go in the world of wine to learn winemaking in different regions?
Well, I started in Portugal, of course, working as a trainee for some wineries here in Portugal. But then I went to France, I went to Bordeaux, I worked at Saint-Emilion and also at Première Côte de Bordeaux with Mr. Denis Dubordieu, which was actually a consultant of Leeuwen. Of course, at that time, I had no idea that I would end up working for Avleda. This was a long time ago, but that was a nice coincidence. And after that, I went to the United States, where I worked at Chateau Montelena. Then I went to Chile, worked for Razoris, also worked for De Martino in Chile, and then I realized that to be a good winemaker, you have to understand at least the basic about viticulture. And I think that's what was lacking in what I had studied. So I went to Montpellier to study viticulture, to learn more about viticulture, because I think that's very important if you want to be a good winemaker, to understand the grapes, to understand how to cultivate the grapes, and then you can better understand them and make them into better wine, of course.
Absolutely, and Montpellier in France is a world famous enology, school of enology. So you really, excuse me, have your pedigree in terms of experience and education. We're just going to see who is logging in tonight. We've got Anne in Halifax who says, hello, Pedro. We're looking forward to your wine stories.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to, yes. Enologize, who is Malcolm from Niagara, former LCBO product consultant, now teaching courses online, very knowledgeable. Oh, he's here in Hamilton, actually, not Niagara. And he says, welcome to you, Pedro. Tom Dean is in Cambridge, Ontario, which has the largest population of Portuguese from the
Wow.
Azores. Yeah, isn't that neat? Thank you for the factoid, Tom. and
Boa
Jane,
noite.
and Jane is here in Ottawa, and she is drinking a glass of Avellino Vino Verde, right on theme. Hashtag on trend, Jane. And tonight we are simulcasting to Facebook Live, both my public page and my personal profile. We're over on YouTube live stream and we're on Twitter. So unless my computer melts down, which it just may well do, we should be having 4 channels tonight. So I am going to be kind of flipping back and forth to try to see the comments. Thus, my eyes will divert to my screen occasionally. So Paul in Virginia, Pedro, is saying, good evening to you both. Vino Verde is our summer go-to wine. Have it nicely chilled. Really good segue there, Paul. And Pedro, you know, today in Ottawa, where I live, Ontario, Canada, we got up to about 8 degrees Celsius, which is probably your winter, but it is our spring. It is our spring. And so our minds turn to spring and spring fair. And so we'll get into more of the, not so much the technical details, but let's talk about food pairings first, because this is such a zesty, lovely white wine from northern Portugal. I always go back to that Amazon algorithm. If you like this, then you'll like that in terms of books. So let's do this with wine. If you like Pinot Grigio, if you like Sauvignon Blanc, if you like Gruner Veltliner, you're going to love the Avelleda, which is the name of the winery, Avelleda, from the region of Vino Verde, and usually the grape is Alvarinho. So Pedro, if you could tell us some terrific food pairings for this, maybe spring pairings for summer, spring produce, and make our mouths water, we'd really appreciate it. Over to you.
Well, I think you've put it quite well by defining the style of Vinho Verde. Actually, Vinho Verde is more commonly a blend of grapes, as actually is Portugal in general. It's very hard to find a single varietal wine in Portugal. We have more than 250 indigenous grape varieties.
Wow.
And I think that's a big asset that we have.
Absolutely. And I think you may still hear me, but I'm not sure if we are still broadcasting. I think I have melted down my CPU here.
That we can.
Oh, there you
that
are.
we can use.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. My computer froze because I'm at 98% CPU, but just keep on going. Let's see if this persists. If not, we may have to reestablish the call where I just do 2 streams, but anyway, let's keep going. So I can't believe how many indigenous grapes there are. That's an amazing number of grapes right in that region. It must
No, not only in the region.
Okay.
I mean, in the whole of Portugal.
Oh, okay. Okay. And in Vino Verde, the region of Vino Verde, was it reading this 45?
We have between white and red, we have about some 60 varieties or so. I'm not sure, but it should be around that number.
That's an amazing. So are most wines, like, okay, let's take this one, which I think is the one we're most familiar with here in Canada and the United States. Is this 100% Alvarinho grapes?
No, not at all.
Okay.
This is Loureiro, Trajadura, and Arinto.
So 3 grapes.
3 grapes. 3
Okay.
grapes.
Okay.
But you asked me about food pairing.
Yes.
And so just to answer, just to finish the answer,
Yeah.
I think Vinho Verde is, by being such a fresh, such a crispy wine, it's perfect wine for all sorts of seafood, Asian dishes. Sushi is great with Vinho Verde. Even some spicy food like Thai food. That sort of food, I think those are great pairings for Vinho Verde. And of course, talking about Avelleda Vinho Verde specifically, this is a great aperitif wine. You can have it on its own. it's great to have on its own also because it's light, it's crispy, it's refreshing. So we don't really need something to go with. You can have it just on its own.
Yeah, it is a great aperitif wine because what I like about it too is that it's very low in alcohol, so it's only about 9 or 9.5% on most of
Yeah.
these wines that I have, and yet it's very zesty, very flavorful, sort of a lime zest lift across the palate. So packed with flavor, not wimpy, but still light to medium bodied, refreshing, crisp. I like your word, crispy. And it works. Like if we're getting ready for the dock, the deck, the sunny veranda, this is a gorgeous wine. So tell us more about where exactly Vino Verde is. If you could clarify, just for our understanding, because we have a range of people here tonight, from people who've taken wine courses to those who are just beginning in their wine journey. Vino Verde is a region in northern Portugal. The name of a wine, kind of like Chianti is the name of a wine in a region, but the grape can vary. So tell us about Vino Verde as a region, if you will, Pedro.
Yeah, definitely, and that is something that people sometimes it's sometimes it's confusing because if you translate Vino Verde into English, it would translate as green wine. So normally people think that Vinho Verde refers to the wine, but it actually refers to the region. So it's the name of a wine region. That's very important to 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 explain because that's the region, and it's a DOC region, like the Douro or like Champagne or like Chianti, as you well said.
Right,
Now,
that's a DOC region. And if I understand correctly, but again, correct me if I'm wrong, Vino Verde doesn't mean green wine, but it does mean youthful. The green, the youthfulness comes through in that it's meant to be enjoyed in its youth, this wine.
uh, if you translate directly, it translates into green wine, but it
Okay.
doesn't mean that the wine is green.
No.
The thing is, nobody is knows it for sure why the region is called Vini Verde, but we think it comes from the landscape because being Atlantic climate region where it's never too hot, never too cold, um, and it rains a lot, especially in winter and spring. The landscape is always green, even in summer, when for example, in continental climates or Mediterranean climates, the landscape becomes yellow or brown because it dries.
Right.
In Vinho Verde, it's green all throughout the year. So that's why we associate the region with with the color green.
Okay.
But if you think of these climates and these characteristics from the terroir point of view, or from the wine point of view, uh, if you don't get a lot of heat, if you get a lot of rain, it's and then if you associate that with the granitic soil that we have in most of the region that drains the water very well, and with the indigenous varieties that we have that also account for the exclusivity of the profile of the wine we produce here, then we have a wine region that has great qualities to produce a wine that is very white wine, that is very fresh, very crispy, easy to understand and easy to enjoy. So that's the essence of Pinot Verde.
Terrific. Okay. Well, the people are piling in, as are the comments. And on Facebook, as I've said before on previous broadcasts, I see 5 comments at a time and then they disappear. So, folks, if I haven't answered your question or posed it to Pedro, please repost it. It doesn't mean I'm ignoring you or that was not a good question. It's just going so fast. So, Lori is here from Ottawa. Oh, wait a minute. Stephen is here from. Oh, he's in the airport at New York at LaGuardia. Stephen, you are dedicated. Oh. Stephen is from Waterloo. Usually, sometimes he's logged in from his vacation spot down in. where were you? You were down south somewhere, Stephen. But now he's in LaGuardia. He's waiting for his flight. I love this. I love the whole connection here that happens with Facebook Live. So, and Tom is saying he's still hearing us. If you're just logging in to join us right now and you're going, who are these people? I'm Natalie McLean, editor of Canada's largest wine review site at nataliemclean.com. And we are joined here tonight by Pedro Costa, who is the chief winemaker at Aveleda, and he is here from northern Portugal, and we are talking about Vinho Verde wines, crisp, fresh, spring-ready white wines. So please tell us where you're logging in from, and maybe a simple yes/no question if you're just joining us. Have you ever had a Vinho Verde wine? Just yes or no, folks. Just log in and in the comments, just tell us yes or no. I'm curious as to how many people have tried Vinho Verde wines and are aware of them because we're going to open your taste buds tonight. And Melanie Aubert is just joining us, checking in. Hello, Mel. And Jason is here. Jason, not sure where you're from. Daryl Woods just posted a comment from Toronto. Daryl, I missed your comment, my dear. Post it again, please. Oh, now it's coming in so fast. Sorry, Pedro, I'm going to get back to you. Jane, Pedro, oh my goodness, people. Okay, Colin is here. Jane is asking what your favorite food pairing is for Vinho Verde. Tara is here. Malcolm is here. Okay, so Pedro, back to you. What is your favorite food pairing for Vinho Verde, please?
Wow.